Clinton County Board of Elections Precinct Election Official Training, November 3rd, 2020 General Election. Single Precinct Provisional Voting. What is provisional voting? Voters are asked to cast their ballot provisionally when they have already requested an absentee ballot or their eligibility is in question. The content of a provisional ballot is no different than a regular ballot. They are the same physical ballot. The ballot is placed in a yellow provisional envelope instead of scanned. The provisional envelope is held in a locked vault until the BOE can verify the voter did not vote an absentee ballot or to validate the voter eligibility. Common reasons to vote provisionally include: the voter is not listed in your precinct's electronic poll book or poll pad. The voter requested an absentee ballot but did not return it to the Board of Elections. The voter changed their name and moved to a new precinct and didn't update the registration with the BOE. The voter changed their name but remained in the same precinct. They do not have proof of name change. The voter moved to a different precinct and didn't update the registration with the BOE. The voter does not have acceptable identification. Or the voter was flagged by the BOE for having registration confirmation mailings returned as undeliverable. Rare examples include the voter's signature doesn't match the signature in the voter's record in the electronic poll book, or the voter has been challenged and the challenge has not been resolved or has been resolved against the voter. Myth: if you vote provisionally, your ballot is only counted if there is a tie. Truth: all ballots cast provisionally are carefully reviewed, and if the voter is eligible to vote in Ohio, the vote is counted in the final official certified results. The Board of Elections verifies the voter's eligibility and ensures no duplicate voting has occurred in another county. Even though provisional voters are now processed through the poll pad, these voters still complete the yellow provisional envelope with identification information. In the first section, the voter must print the full name here. They may not write it in cursive. It must be printed. The second section is the date of birth. Check this over and verify. Often, voters make the mistake of writing in the current year instead of their birth year. Section 3 is the street address where the voter lives now at the time of the election. Section 4 is optional. It is the former address if the voter recently moved. Section 5 is the identification, and very important, this is required. We prefer the last 4 numbers of the Social Security number so the voter does not have to return to the BOE to present identification. And Section 6 is the affirmation. The voter must read, sign, and write the election date after the affirmation, attesting they are a citizen of legal age and a full-time resident of the state where they are voting. The voter enters the polling location and goes to an available voter check-in table and is identified as a provisional voter by the VLM. There is a message for voters marked provisional that reads, "This voter must vote a provisional ballot due to undeliverable mailing by the Board of Elections." Click on Process Provisionally button. Choose the type of identification presented. Verify the voter's address and name match the identification by clicking Yes for each of the questions. Does the voter's address match the identification? And does the voter's name match the identification? A reminder about the type of ID will appear. Click OK when you have verified the credentials match the requirements. For example, the utility bill must have the voter's current name and address on it, and it must be within the last 12 months. Turn the screen towards the voter and ask them to sign and verify the address information is correct. The voter should sign on the next screen. Click Done Signing. Confirm the voter's information and signatures. Click Submit. The voter is escorted to a vote-o-matic and will begin completing the yellow provisional ballot envelope. The VLM will hand the provisional ballot request slip to PEO number 2 to record voter information in the provisional book of the ballot poll book. PEO number 2 will hand the provisional ballot request slip to PEO number 3, who retrieves the ballot and issues the ballot to the voter. PEO number 2 records the ballot stub number given to them by PEO number 3 after they retrieve the ballot. The VLM gives the ballot to the voter at the vote-o-matic and instructs the voter to seal the ballot in the provisional ballot affirmation envelope when they are done voting. The voter should return the sealed ballot to PEO number 4. PEO number 4 receives the sealed provisional ballot affirmation envelope from the voter, issues them a provisional ballot notice, or Form 12H, and directs them to the polling place exit. PEO number 4 should review the provisional envelope to make sure all of the required information has been provided by the voter. PEO number 4 should initial the envelope to indicate it was reviewed. PEO number 4 places the voter's sealed provisional ballot affirmation envelope in the voted precinct's yellow canvas provisional ballot bag stored at the voter check-in table. Presenting voter ID to the Board of Elections after Election Day. If a voter casts a provisional ballot because they did not provide or were unable to provide acceptable voter ID, they must appear at the BOE within 7 days after the election to provide identification for their ballot to be eligible to be counted. However, if the voter provides the last 4 digits of their Social Security number, this satisfies the ID requirements for provisional voting. If they provide the last 4 digits of their Social Security number, they do not have to appear at the Board of Elections within the 7 days after the election to provide any additional identification. This is a provisional process flowchart. You can look through this and consider your role and what you would need to do to process the provisional voter. Click the link in the notes under this video to take the quiz.